What if I told you that one of football's most brutally effective defenders, a gladiator defined by the dark arts and a famously broken nose, was also a bookish intellectual with a master's degree? This is the unbelievable story of the man they call King Kong. And trust me, you'll want to be subscribed with notifications on for this one. In the dazzling universe of modern football, where the spotlight naturally finds the glamorous number 10s and the lightning-fast forwards, there exists another kind of hero, a rarer breed. Their value isn't captured in gold tallies or mesmerizing dribbles. No, their worth is etched into the landscape of their own bodies, in every scar, every perfectly timed tackle, and in the profound sense of security they gift their team. Giorgio Chiellini is the ultimate embodiment of that warrior creed. His life story isn't a simple saga of God-given talent. It's an epic of sheer will, of a brilliant mind, and of a heart that simply never, ever learned how to surrender. Our journey doesn't begin on a pristine green pitch, but in a humble family home in the bustling port city of Livorno, Tuscany. It's August 14th, 1984, and twins Giorgio and Claudio Chiellini enter the world. Their parents, hard-working people who deeply valued education, initially pushed their boys towards basketball, the popular local sport. But football has a gravity all its own. From his earliest days, Giorgio revealed a quality that set him apart, a piercing intelligence and an insatiable thirst for knowledge. This wasn't a boy who just mindlessly chased a ball. He was a phenomenal student, the kind who meticulously finished every piece of homework before even thinking about going out to play. Many of his childhood friends still paint a vivid picture of a young Giorgio peering through thick glasses, his head constantly buried in books. It's an image so completely at odds with the monster the football world would one day come to fear. But that pull of the beautiful game eventually won him over. The young Giorgio joined the Youth Academy of Livorno, his beloved hometown club. And here's a fascinating twist. He started out as a winger and attacker. But the coaches, they saw something different. They quickly recognized that his true genius wasn't in his attacking flair, but in his tactical mind and a ferocity that was just rare. So they made a decision that would alter the course of football history. They moved him back into the defense. At just 16 years old, Chiellini made his debut for Livorno's first team. A boy among men. Yet he already carried himself with the composure of a veteran. He could read the game, see the play developing 3 steps ahead, and possessed an absolutely uncompromising spirit. He didn't just play, he battled. He never hesitated to throw himself into clashes with strikers who were bigger, stronger, and far more experienced. And his nose, the feature that would later become an icon in its own right, broken and reset more times than he can count. It began singing its painful song in those very first professional games. Yet alongside the bruising tackles, Giorgio never abandoned his studies. He held a deep conviction that a footballer, to be truly great, needed a sharp, educated mind. He graduated from high school with top marks and then did something almost unheard of for a rising professional athlete. He enrolled in the prestigious University of Turin. This single choice was a powerful statement, proof that he saw a life for himself far beyond the pitch. Chiellini's raw talent quickly became too big for the confines of Serie C. He was snapped up by AS Roma, only to be immediately sold to Juventus in one of those complex co-ownership deals so common in Italian football at the time. But the old lady of Turin, Juventus, wisely decided he needed seasoning. They sent him out on loan to study abroad at Fiorentina for the 2004-2005 season to cut his teeth in the unforgiving world of Serie A. And in Florence, the cradle of the Renaissance, this young defender had his own artistic explosion. Wearing the iconic purple shirt of La Viola, Chiellini truly announced his arrival. He was deployed at left back, a demanding role requiring both defensive steel and the engine to support the attack. And he didn't just cope, he excelled. That season, he was one of Fiorentina's standout players, playing with a boundless energy and a raw courage that made the Florentine tifosi fall in love with him. They adored the way he fought for the shirt, the way he launched himself into every challenge as if it were his last. He even chipped in with 3 goals, a remarkable tally for a defender, hinting at the versatility that would define him. 1 year in Florence wasn't long, but it was transformative. It was enough to polish Chiellini from a rough diamond into one of the most promising young defenders in all of Italy. He had learned how to battle the world's best strikers, how to soak up the pressure of the most intimidating stadiums. Juventus had seen enough. They knew it was time to call their soldier home. In the summer of 2005, Giorgio Chiellini officially pulled on the legendary black and white stripes of Juventus. He walked into that dressing room as a promising young talent, ready to learn his trade from living legends like Lilian Thuram and Fabio Cannavaro. But fate had a much bigger, much crueler test in store for him. The summer of 2006. A seismic shockwave tears through Italian football, the Calciopoli scandal. Juventus, the reigning champions, are stripped of 2 of their Scudetto titles and in the ultimate humiliation are relegated to Serie B. It was the darkest, most shameful moment in the club's proud history. A mass exodus began. One by one, the superstars walked away. Zlatan Ibrahimović, Patrick Vieira, Gianluca Zambrotta, even the World Cup winning captain, Fabio Cannavaro. They all abandoned the sinking ship. And in that chaos, amidst the rubble of a fallen giant, a small group of heroes made a stand. Alongside the club icons, Alessandro Del Piero, Gigi Buffon, Pavel Nedved, and David Trezeguet, the young Giorgio Chiellini made a choice that would define his entire career. He would stay. He would fight in the trenches of the 2nd division to drag the old lady back to where she belonged. This wasn't just a career move, it was an oath of allegiance. It was an act that forged an unbreakable bond with the Juventini forever. He wasn't just another player anymore. He was one of them. A soldier. A symbol of resilience against injustice. That season in Serie B was a bitter, grueling slog, but it was priceless. Chiellini became an unmovable pillar in that defense, scrapping for every point in small, hostile stadiums, facing down opponents desperate to make history by beating the fallen giants. They clawed their way back. After just 1 season, Juventus returned to Serie A. And from those ashes, a legend was truly born. Just think about that for a second. At that pivotal moment, when your club is disgraced and relegated, and the biggest names in the world are jumping ship, you're a young player with immense potential. Do you stay loyal, or do you leave for guaranteed glory elsewhere? It's a massive decision. What would you have done? Let me know your honest thoughts down in the comments below. The years that followed were a difficult, painstaking period of reconstruction. But Chiellini was the constant, a solid rock in a sea of uncertainty. And then it happened. The golden era arrived. Under the ferocious leadership of Antonio Conte and later the tactical genius of Massimiliano Allegri, Juventus didn't just return to the top, they built an empire. Chiellini, alongside his brothers-in-arms, Andrea Barzagli and Leonardo Bonucci, formed the most feared defensive unit in the world, the legendary BBC. They weren't just 3 defenders. They were a fortress, a single organism that operated with a terrifying perfect synergy. Barzagli was the cool, intelligent head. Bonucci, the elegant ball player launching attacks from the back. And Chiellini was the heart, the muscle, the snarling aggression. He was the one willing to do anything to stop an opponent. The shirt pulls the cynical fouls, the psychological warfare. All the dark arts that are not just accepted, but revered as the art of Italian defending. He went toe-to-toe with the greatest strikers of his generation. His duels with Zlatan Ibrahimović became the stuff of legend. They were like two gladiators battling in the Colosseum, giving no quarter but always sharing a warrior's respect after the final whistle. And of course, there was Luis Suarez. An unforgettable memory from the 2014 World Cup with the infamous bite that shocked the world. But even after that, Chiellini showed his immense class, brushing it off as just part of the heat of the game. He won 9 consecutive Serie A titles with Juventus, an unprecedented dynasty. He lifted countless Italian cups and Super Cups. He inherited the captain's armband from the great Gigi Buffon, becoming the vocal roaring soul of the old lady. But there was one deep burning pain in his club career, the Champions League. Twice he and his Juventus brothers fought their way to the final in 2015 and 2017. And twice they fell at the final hurdle to the historical might of Barcelona and Real Madrid. The tears that fell on the turf in Berlin and Cardiff spoke volumes. They were the tears of a warrior who had given everything, but whose ultimate prize remained just out of reach. That heartbreaking quest for European glory defined so much of his club career. But his story with the Italian national team is a whole other epic of failure, redemption, and ultimate triumph. Make sure you're subscribed with notifications on, because you won't want to miss how this warrior finally got his hands on the prize he deserved most. And hey, if there's another legend whose story you're dying to hear, drop their name in the comments. We build this channel around the stories you want to see. Chiellini's international career with the Azzurri was a roller coaster of every emotion imaginable. He made his debut way back in 2004, and he lived through it all, the golden generations and the absolute darkest of days. He was there for the bitter failures at the 2010 and 2014 World Cups. And he experienced the ultimate national shame when Italy, a footballing superpower, failed to even qualify for the 2018 World Cup. It was a disaster, a national tragedy. For many, it felt like Chiellini's international career had ended it in disgrace. But not for Chiellini. Under manager Roberto Mancini, a new Italy began to rise. A team that was young, exciting, technically gifted, and hungry for redemption. And right at the heart of that vibrant young squad stood 2 old guards, 2 grizzled veterans in defense, Giorgio Chiellini and Leonardo Bonucci. They weren't just players. They were the big brothers, the spiritual anchors for an entire nation's hopes. Euro 2020, held in the summer of 2021, would become the most glorious chapter of his entire storied career. At 36 years of age, he played with the fire and energy of a man a decade younger. He commanded the back line with unmatched experience and wisdom. And his personality shone through. That mischievous, disarming smile and his playful bear hug with Spain's Jordi Alba right before the semi-final penalty shootout. That became an iconic image of the tournament, showcasing a master of psychological warfare at work. And then the final. At Wembley Stadium, against an England team roaring with the confidence of a home crowd that believed football was finally coming home. Italy went down early. The stadium erupted. Lesser teams would have crumbled. But this Italy, led by this captain, did not. You could see Chiellini armband tight on his biceps, screaming, organizing, urging his teammates on refusing to let them bow. And that infamous, cynical, but absolutely necessary shirt pull on Bukayo Saka late in the game. It showed the world one simple truth. Giorgio Chiellini would do anything to win for his country. The game went to the fateful penalty shootout, and Italy triumphed. The image of Giorgio Chiellini, the warrior, with his battle scars and crooked nose, joyfully lifting that silver Henri Delaunay trophy into the London night. It was the perfect climax, a richly deserved reward for a career of dedication. After more than 50 years, he had brought the European Championship back to Rome. After scaling that incredible peak, Chiellini knew his time at the very top of European football was drawing to a close. He bid farewell to Juventus in 2022. His departure marked by a flood of tears and overwhelming gratitude from the fans he had served so faithfully. He didn't take the easy payday, didn't choose a wealthy club in the Middle East for a comfortable retirement tour. No, he chose one last genuine challenge, an adventure across the Atlantic. He joined Los Angeles FC in Major League Soccer. Many observers dismissed it as a Hollywood holiday. They were wrong. Chiellini packed his relentless professionalism and his burning desire to win in his suitcase. He instantly became a spiritual leader in the LAFC dressing room, a mentor to the young players around him. And as if it were scripted by destiny itself, he won again. He lifted the MLS Cup with LAFC in his very first season, adding one final, improbable trophy to his magnificent collection. Finally, in December of 2023, Giorgio Chiellini officially announced his retirement from the game. He went out on his own terms as a champion, a fitting end for a true winner. Giorgio Chiellini leaves the pitch, but his legacy is eternal. He leaves behind far more than just trophies and medals. He leaves the image of the model professional, the perfect fusion of brute physical strength and supreme intellect. He is the living, breathing proof that a player can be a monster between the white lines and a professor outside of them. In 2017, he completed his master's degree in business administration from the University of Turin with a near-perfect score. His thesis, a detailed analysis of the business model of his own club, Juventus. He is a symbol of loyalty, a value that feels rarer and more precious with each passing season. He is a born leader, the kind of man teammates would follow into any battle. The story of Giorgio Chiellini is more than just a football story. It's a lesson in relentless hard work, in the value of education, in the will to overcome every obstacle, and above all, in the pure, unshakable love for the shirt on your back. The world of football will surely produce more technically gifted defenders. But to find another warrior with the heart, the mind, and the soul of King Kong Chiellini, we may have to wait a very, very long time. And that's where this incredible football story concludes. What a journey, right? I'm so eager to hear your thoughts. What moment from his career stands out to you the most? Did his loyalty during the Calciopoli scandal resonate with you? Please share all your opinions, your favorite memories, and any questions you have in the comments below. I truly love reading every single one and building this amazing football community with all of you. Thanks for watching,